All right, so now we're going to go ahead and look at a few more examples when a is equal to 1 while we're still dealing with the same signs. All right, so our first example, example 1. I want to go ahead and look, first of all, do I have a GCF for all 4 terms? No. A is equal to 1. I have nothing higher than a 2. So therefore, I'm not going to have a GCF for all terms. I look at my last sign. My sign is positive. That means I need to either have 2 positives or 2 negatives. And I will be adding my middle 2 terms. But in this case now, my first term is minus, which means now both my terms in my binomials are going to be minuses. It's the only difference so far. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. And 3 plus 1 is equal to 4, so we are good. I'm going to set up my 2 binomials. My x goes in the front, because that's what I have as a variable. I have a 3 and a 1. And in this case, though, both my signs are minus. All right. And this one I'm actually going to go ahead and check so that you can see. And because we do have minuses rather than pluses, this will be the only one I check out of this series. All right. So I have x times x gives me my x squared. That was expected. I have an x times a negative 1, which is a minus 1x or minus x. I have a minus 3 times x, which is a minus 3x. And I have a negative 3 and a negative 1 gives me a plus 3. And my 2 middle terms are both negative. Remember, there's a 1 coefficient here. This is minus 4x. And I get back to where I started from. Now, you should always go ahead and check these, especially when you start getting into negatives and minuses. All right? Example 2. Again, my last sign tells me that I'm going to either have 2 positives or 2 negatives. And I'm going to be adding to get my middle 2 terms because they're the same. And again, my second term is negative, which means I'm dealing with 2 minuses. Factors of 7, all I have is 1 and 7. Thank goodness they add up to 8. I'm going to go ahead and set up my 2 binomials. I have a x's in the front. I have a 7 and a 1. And I have 2 minuses. And of course, you should always check on your own to make sure that you didn't make a mistake. All right, I got 2 more coming up. I would love for you to go ahead and try these on your own. And then go ahead and watch me work them out before you work on the exercises. All right, so in this case, my last sign is positive. My middle sign is negative, which means I'm going to have 2 negatives. And I'm going to be adding my middle 2 terms together to get my 5. All right. Factors of 6. I have 1 and 6. I have 2 and 3. Remember, I am adding them because they are the same sign, which means I need to go with my 2 and my 3 because they add up to 5. I go ahead and set up my 2 binomials. In this case, I have y's. I need to make sure that y's go in my binomials. This is the first time we have not had x's. I need to put my 2 and my 3 in the back end, whichever order you would like. And they all get minuses. All right, example 4, same idea. Our last sign is plus, which means I need either have 2 pluses or 2 negatives, and I'm adding to get my middle 2 terms, my middle term. I have a negative as my first sign, so I will have 2 minuses. I need factors of 21 that add up to 10. So I have 7 times 3 gives me 21. 7 plus 3 is 10, so that's going to work. I set up my 2 binomials. My x goes in the front because I have x's again. I have a 7 and a 3, doesn't matter the order. And then my signs in both my binomials are going to be minus. So all this was the version where you don't always have pluses, but the signs are still the same, so you're still adding your middle two terms. All right, so please work on the practice today. Make sure you ask any questions, and I will see you in the next video.